Welcome to another episode of Ark Survival Ascended Bootcamp, where we go over all the how-tos, where-tos, and what you will need to-dos. In today's video, we're going to be taking off the training wheels. I'm going to be talking to you guys like you're one of the tribe, and we're going to be going over Dino settings and how to establish your starting breeders or a breed line. Alright, so right off the bat, when it comes to the Dino settings, it's gonna start with when you tame a dino. So I don't think there's a way to untame. So we're gonna be stuck with taming a fresh one. Let's go find a fresh PT. Alright, and let's force tame this bad boy. Alright, let's give it a saddle. Sad PT. And what are its settings? Behavior. It's on follow, distance, medium. That's great. Low, it'll just fly around constantly and be almost impossible to ride. High, it won't reach you. If you're like overweight and unable to move, it'll be too far away for most of the time. Stance, attack your target. We're going to want to put this on passive. Okay. So just in case we want this guy to stay where it is, there are circumstances that will require different behavioral aggressions, but passive is a decent place to start because we know what we're doing, and if we need to change it, we'll change it when that time comes. But you definitely want it to be on passive, otherwise you might lose it while you're not looking. Targeting range, medium, perfectly fine. Ally looking, disable that. For the love of God, disable ally looking on every dino you've ever tamed in your entire life and bred. Please, thank you, moving on. Ignore group whistle. We want it to heed group whistle right now. A very common thing to ignore group whistling on is a breeding pen. If you set up your breeders, you're going to want to ignore group whistle because Bob teammates like the J whistle, which is a common term for the key binding of whistle follow, all follow. So if you have never touched this entire screen, all follow me is actually assigned to J. Now we definitely don't want to have this key bind at all. It's unassigned for a very specific reason, and that is the destruction of every dino that's ever lived in your base being flocked to one spot. Alright, if you've ever set up breeders and then had a, for every breed line in your entire life, and then had a teammate whistle follow me, we all know how it feels. It's terrible. You have to reset everything. It takes hours to do so. So right now, it's on heed group whistle. So, but if you ever set it up as a breeder, go ahead and ignore group whistle. Target conscious, that's fine. Mating, obviously, you'll save that for when you're actually breeding. And enable wandering is very niche. It's for like dung beetles. It's for acatinas for making paste that gotchas can pick up. Things that we're not going to worry about right now. So you're definitely going to want your normal tames to not be wandering. Order enable following. I don't even know why that's really there. Personally, if I were to have created the UI, I wouldn't have put it there because I just think it's a slot that doesn't need to be there. Like you either press T for follow me, or you whistle follow all, or please land. Or if you are out in even if you're in a group, you can set up order groups. So let's say this is my PT. I'd probably add this creature to like group 1 or something ridiculous like that. And I could actually press 1 on my numpad, and now no matter what I whistle, I will only talk to that PT with group whistles. So now it's gonna heed. It's the only dino in my range that's gonna heed all of my group whistles. So all stop only pertains to that PT. All follow only pertains to that PT. The all whistles. So all stop, and what have you. You can actually modify this wheel as well. This is me holding T. You can modify this wheel as well. I recommend definitely modifying it to your taste. So for me, I like to do my keybinds so that way if I am out PvPing, I press 1. So I press 1. You see it on the bottom right there? It says Tame Order Group None, Tame Order Group 1. I will only whistle my PT, but if I need to whistle everything, I need to remember to take that off. And now I can group whistle everything. But there's a lot of situations where I want to group whistle because pressing T means you have to have your crosshairs on it, right? If I press T right there, literally nothing happens. But if I, do follow all, I can go group order 1, follow all. Now it is the only one that followed me. Alright? You're tracking. Moving on. And copy settings. Copy settings are basically enabled for enabling group whistling and mating. So you're pretty much just gonna see it for setting up breeders, and it's a breeding thing. And I'm gonna have an in-depth breeding guide later. Right now we're just going over the basics of the Dino settings and how to establish your breeders. So we've gone over all the Dino settings. Let's go over how to establish a breed line, or how to establish what even is a breeder. Let's say you tamed 5 150s. How do you know what is a breeder and what is not? And that is going to come from how you want to play the game. If you play in a tribe, like my tribe, it's going to come from how the tribe admins tell you they want their breed lines to be. So let's make an example out of PTs. That's going to be the theme. So for a PT, starting off the rip, you want as much health as possible. You want as much stam as possible. Oxygen does not matter. Food does not matter. Weight as much as possible. Melee as much as possible. And movement speed is a wasted stat through every single dino. That being said, I don't know if in ASA the wasted movement speed stat literally does not exist, because it says you cannot level movement speed. Wait a minute. Oh, it's enabled in single player. Okay. You cannot level movement speed in your player or on your dino. So I think they did this to get rid of the stat completely as a wasted points dump. And I'll kind of explain that in a completely different video, but I'm done talking to you guys, like baby feeding you. You should kind of know that movement speed is already a wasted stat, whether it be a flyer or a land dino. That being said, a land dino movement speed does have points. A flyer does not have any points in movement speed. So you're never going to actually have wasted points in a flyer because they can't level their movement speed. And that all makes sense now. But that being said, so we're going to talk about PT specifically. We want health, stam, weight, melee. So how do you go about establishing a breed line? Well, the best way to describe this is we're in base. We've got a couple level 100 tame PTs, right? We got a couple level 50 tame PTs. We want to go establish a breed line. So we're going to go scout the entirety of Ark for a level 150 PT. No, I'm just kidding. We're just going to find a high level PT. 130 to 150 is a pretty good range to look for. On the island, to be honest, that's going to be really rare. So you're just looking for the highest stat of a single stat that you can possibly tame. So if I tame a level 100 and it rolls really high HP or really high stamina, really high weight, or really high damage, that's going to be that highest roll for that dino. And I'm going to need to keep that bad boy safe, because Once you've tamed a stat, you can replicate that with breeding. So, let's go over. We found a 150. Hallelujah. You know, the Arc Gods are out today. They've seen us. We've been doing great things, putting in the time, putting in the effort. Give me power. Boom. Tamed it, saddled it. Let's look into it. Well, first, let's do the settings because God forbid we get pulled up by some goddamn PvP. We gotta do stuff real quick. Alright, so I whistled all stop and all passive. So I disabled it from following me, and now it's on passive. Because I don't have any order. My tame ordering group is at none at the bottom. So, open the inventory. Now, Arc Smart Breeder is an amazing tool, and it breaks down the health, the stam, the oxygen, the food, the weight, the melee, and the movement speed into individual points. What does that mean? Level 225. That 225 compromises how many points are put in health, how many points are put in stamina, how many points are put in oxygen, how many points are put in food, how many points are put in weight, how many points are put in melee, and for a PT, that's it. So you're always going to have 0 points put in movement speed because it's a flyer. If it was a land dino, it would also have wasted points put in movement speed. That's why taming a PT with 50 points in health is like not unheard of. But taming a Rex with 50 points in health is unheard of because you have wasted points put into speed on land dinos. In Asa, I imagine that's going to be different. So a 50 points in HP Rex is very, very viable. You know, kind of foreseeing the future if able to do so. So if Arc Smart Breeder was an option, what do? Well, they've already got it set it up. So you have the app downloaded, and that's Arc Smart Breeder. And I don't know any other app that actually makes use of this, but it's in the game. You go to options, and it's right there, Export Dino. If you've ever wondered what the heck that meant, you have to use a third-party software system. So you export that dino. You see data for your PT level 225 PT has been exported. So I'm going to go into a third-party system or another app, and I'm going to, I'm back into the game. And you probably didn't hear everything I said while I was in the app because I tabbed out for a second. But I went into the app, and I last exported this export, and it told me the points in each stat. So I'm going to look again real quick. 41. Alright, I looked at the stats that I actually cared about, and I'm going to name it that. So 41H for health. 27 340. So 27 23 40. And that was stam, weight, damage. Boom. That simple. So now I know that this PT has good health and good damage. Now 40 points is good, it's not great. For a flyer, for a 150 tame, 50 is the best, but you want to make do with what you have because you're establishing a breedline. And you can only establish a breedline off of what you tame. So 41 points in health. If Arc Smart Breeder is not a thing in Asa, you're gonna have to do the math or just play with numbers. So what's the other route of going about it? Well, it's actually a little bit more simple, but in the same time worse. It's in game it's good, but when I'm a numbers person, so this makes more sense to me. But for people in game, you can actually do it a different way. Instead of putting the points for the health, you can literally just look at the stats and name it that way. So it's a shame I can't have this up at the same time. Options. Alright, so what's the health? 7. So I might use a piece of paper and write this down, right? So the health is 1738 and the melee is 363. So 1738 and 363. was the damage. Okay. So I can add a little bit more. So now I know that it's high health, high damage. Or that's might be my highest health, highest damage. Who knows? Because you have a tribe full of people. They're all taming all kinds of stuff. So I'm flying it back to base. Alright. So let's do that, but like times 9, okay? So if you're trying to establish a breed line, you want to tame a lot of high level tames. A tame like a PT, for me, like I said, you want a bunch of different stats. You want health, weight, stam, damage. For a different type of tame, and this only pertains to health specific tames, or when you are looking for a tame where you just want health, you can use a magnifying glass. So if you're not looking for all the stats, like let's say we already tamed 50 points in stam, 50 points in weight, and 50 points in damage. Like we already tamed really high levels. We just need health. So we have like 5 PTs with high health, weight, stam, with high weight, stam, and damage. Now we just need a PT with high health. You're going to use a magnifying glass. And you're going to look for a high level tame with high points in health. That way you're not running around wasting your time taming every level 150. And this will become more pertinent when different maps get released. So for the island, finding a 150 is going to be a godsend. But for other maps, like let's say the Center or Ragnarok, you see a stego, you go up to it, it's level 150, and you spyglass it, and oh, it's only got 2.5k health pre-tame. That's a bad pre-tame stat roll. So that's like what, 20 something points in health before you tame it. You want 30 plus, easy. Because dinos already have pre-rolled stats. They are level for a reason. So the levels mean something. The levels don't just mean bigger, stronger, faster, harder, off the bat. A level 70 Bronto and a level 50 Bronto. The level 50 Bronto could be more health and better melee than the level 70 based on the allocated stats, but the level 70 could have higher oxygen. It could be a submarine Bronto. That's a very, very real ideal. A very real outcome. Because every dino has oxygen, and they haven't perfected this. And if they did in ASA, that would be huge. As a matter of fact, please, for the love of God, can you not give dinos that can't go underwater oxygen points? That would be great. I think that's just an inevitability, because in a realistic world, there is a way that you can, knock someone's PT out over water, and they're unconscious, so they sink, and their oxygen starts to go down. That's the only way that a dino that can't go underwater's oxygen goes down, other than being tamed and diving. But that is a dino that can go underwater. Flyers that can't go underwater, the only way to get them to go underwater is by knocking them out. And that's a whole different topic. Alright, so let's get back on track. That might be another video. So let's say we tame a bunch of PTs, and we're just looking for health. You're going to want to use a magnifying glass to look at the pre-tame stats, basically, is the layman's terms on that. So, once you have established your breed lines, let's talk about breeding. the way to combine stats, and let's see what we got here. We got a male, a male, a male. Well, they're all male, huh? Another male. Wow. Oh, this must be all that must be all the females. I was doing a little. Another male. I spawned in a bunch of PTs earlier. Another male. Because PTs actually don't spawn on this island. So everyone's going to be 150. Is that another male? Wow. It's crazy. Alright. So, let's tame us another PT. Female. Perfect. Alright, how do you combine stats? Well, you have a 60% chance to get the higher stat, 40% chance to get the lower stat. I don't think it's going to be changed in ASA. So let's see, you got 1663, and we're just going to do it the layman's way. Personally, I would... Personally, I would... God damn it. Personally, I would keep it based on the points. But, for easy in-game showing, we'll go over, let's see, your stamina is 412, and your weight is 201. 412, 201 is higher. Exactly, okay, so... Options, change name. Wait, what was it? It was 412 201. 412 201, and that was stam and weight. Alright, so once you breed them, you have a chance, Jesus, at getting an egg that has 1738 HP. Basically all the best stats, right? So you want the HP, stam, the weight, and the damage, but you also have a chance at mutations. When you're establishing a breed line, you do not want any mutations, okay? Because mutations will you can't even tell, but mutations only go to 20 for the chance to have a mutation. Once the mutation counter goes over 20, the chance that that dino is able to mutate is 0. Alright. So, we're not going to get that in depth, but we're just going to talk about combining stats to establish a breed line. So, how do you combine stats to establish a breed line? You need 0 mutations, and you need to combine every highest stat from your tamed dinos. Now, you can use bred dinos to accomplish this. So, for example, I get 1738 HP, 412 stam, 175 weight, and 363 damage. So, I combined the 3 best stats, but I'm missing... I'm going to disable that. I'm missing the weight on this PT. So I have all best stats. So I have health, stam, and damage. I'm just missing the weight. I can use that tame as long as it has 0 mutations. If it's male, breed it with the female. If it's female, breed it with the male. Well, if it's missing the stam, or I'm sorry, if it's missing the weight, I would need it to be a male. So hopefully it would be a male, because then I could breed the male with the female, because the female's got 201 weight, to get the health, weight, stam, and damage. Once you have all of your best stats combined to a male, so even if I got that all the stats combined to a female, I want to breed that female with any 0 stat male. I mean, this male's got the same best stats, two of the same best stats. So I'd want to tame it. I would want to breed it with that to hopefully get what I call an all-stat male. Once you have that all-stat male, then you can start your breed line. If you tame a new best stat, you can breed that stat into your all-stat, and you make a new all-stat male. So to put this in perspective, I need to do a little bit of different research. One sec. Alright, so I've started the process of creating my breeding pen for my established breed line, but for all intensive purposes, stay along with me here. Every single one of this male is going to be my all-stat male. You know, let's just play pretend. And that male has the highest health, stam, weight, and melee that I've been able to tame out of, out of the entire, all of the PTs that the tribe has tamed, combined all those stats to a male. So from here, all of these PTs are all stat females. And cut back on some typing, just do all stat fem, and control A, control C for copy, and then option change name, and then you can just paste with control V. Let's get these guys all named. So that way we know that these females are also 0 mutations is very important. That's step 1. So the male has 0 mutations. All of these females have 0 mutations. Oh, that's a male. Let's put that back. And all the male and the females all have the highest HP, stam, weight, damage. Now, if you want to go crazy, you can even try to tame like level 5 PTs and get 0 points in food and 0 points in oxygen, and stuff that you don't actually want, because eventually you will cap out on stats, unless you're just trying to do one stat. But weight's always going to be a thing, and damage is usually pretty good on no matter what you have. Even on stegos, damage can be a factor. Alright, so did I already test that one? I did test this one, so I haven't tested this one yet. So I'll show you what I'm doing and how I did this. So first, you want to put the PT up a level, if not 2 levels. For this one, I'm just doing 1 level. Okay, so you want your male, where the male basically docks in and out, or switches in and out, you want that elevated, because you can breed underneath it, you can breed on top of it, and all around it. It's like a sphere of breeding range that it has. Each dino's got, smaller or bigger range. So for PT, it's really not that big. It's kind of small. But how I'm testing this is enable mating on the female. It's not able to mate, so I inch it closer to the male until it's able to breed. Okay, it was pooping. Didn't move a bit. And I'm just inching it closer. There, now that it's able to breed, disable mating, make sure I name it, go grab the next female. Alright. Now that I've created about half of the circle that I'm going to make, I'm going to start filling in the center. So I'm going to get this PT in as much as I can. Might need to finagle this a little bit. There we go. Good thing about PTs is that you can punch them around. So you can make yourself a little bit more room. You don't want to punch the outside PTs, because if you move the outside PTs right now, then you'll basically lose your outer circle. Every outside PT that gets moved will no longer be in range of the male. So these are very important that they do not move. That being said, let's change a behavior to ignore group whistle. And we're going to copy settings to all of our breeders, because we don't want them to accidentally follow the follow wall. Alright, pack that PT right in there. Now if you hold left when you jump off, you go left. If you don't hold anything, you always jump off right. So sometimes it's beneficial, since it's a little buggy, to a hold left when you jump off. So instead of coming out the front, you'll come out the back or the side. Really depends on what's above you. We want to make sure that we're not moving. There we go. The outside PTs. Right, let's keep grabbing some more. I don't even think I named that one. And the reason why I'm not testing the breeding is because I'm filling the inside. Yeah, I didn't even name it. Okay. So when you're filling in the inside, you don't need to test it. It's when you're filling out the outside. So come over here. And basically what I'm using is the old PT is just like running up against it and then slightly in the direction of the male until I get the max breeding range. See if I can punch it in. That went way too far. It's like it glitched and it punched twice or something. Still not breeding. This is another way to do it. You can just do punches. Move it very slowly. Oh, the male's not breeding. Okay. Yeah, always make sure that the male's on, or else obviously it's never gonna start. You're never gonna get that identifier. There we go. Perfect. And then turn off the female. Go grab another female. Alright, see if I can't get a PT in here. Yeah. Crush them in there. PTs are great because they're like, I just want to be careful not to punch the outsides. They've got a small body, but their wings do technically push into each other. So I could technically punch every PT into position. It might be a lot better. So let's start doing that. Behavior enable mating. And just keep punching it into the area. There we go. Disable. So you're going to want to have, so the reason and the point of why we're doing this is because you want as many all-stat females as possible, frankly. Because we're going to be, this is set up for mutation breeding. So this is how you establish your breed line. PT level 1. They should be roughly the same. As long as they've got the health, stam, weight, damage, it doesn't matter about the food and oxygen. I mean, at least not at first. You can always, fix the breed line later. But this is for getting those mutations right away. And then setting this up to be as efficient as possible. Come on now. There we go. So this one's all set. Alright, so now you got the gist of how to set it up. So what you do from here is you set up your entire bottom row of females. You know, you keep making, I could breed the all-stat male with all-stat females and make sure that every single one that gets, 0 mutations, it's going to be guaranteed to have the highest health, weight, stam, damage. And crank out, like 20 more all-stat females, and then plug those in here, and keep filling this out until I've got an entirely filled out 3-layer floor of PTs. Now, you also might want to set this up to have some way to get the eggs. So, since we're not going to have whips, it's going to be pretty difficult to get the eggs. Which means we might have to set this up. You might want to set this up in the air, actually. So for the second layer of PTs, and you're gonna run into a lot of these issues, which you need to modify your pen for until you've got just what you want. Come on, be female. Ah, perfect. So it looks like we might need to go a little bit higher because the heads don't. So you might want to actually start and do your top layer first. Start from the top, work your way down, and start even higher. So now that we've studied this, we see that the foundations are roughly about 2. You're gonna want to have at least 2 to 3 foundations. So let's make that real quick. This is gonna be really simple. So start with thatch. So let's do foundation. Actually, we're gonna do a metal foundation. My bad. And metal double door frames. Alright. There we go. Then a double door frame. And then we're actually going to need to raise this. And so how you do that, just get the pillar like that. Ceiling, and then you can actually pick up the old pillar, or the old ceiling as well. And that double door frame will hold that up. And then we're going to want to flick it this way. There we go. So that's actually our bottom floor. Alright, so for our bottom floor, let's use thatch ceilings. Alright. And we don't need to raise it. So there we go, 1, 2. So the male's gonna sit there. 1, 2. Need to make sure we have enough foundations to do this. So we got 1, 2. Let's go 1, 2. The reason why we're using thatch is because we're actually going to be demolishing all of this. Need more thatch ceilings. Alright, so this will be our new first floor. Bring the male over. Now this is where we go 1 up. So I believe the middle was right there. Yep, so this is the middle. 1, 2, right here. And then we're going to want to do the raising. Might need to go a few out. There we go. And now you can pick up all these old stuff. So that way you're not wasting any materials. And then 1 more. There we go. Now that's the middle floor. So we're going to do that 1 more time. Double door frame. Ceiling. Pillar. Ceiling on top of that. Flick it around. And then that's our top floor. So let's actually change this. Alright, and that's also going to be getting destroyed as well. There we go. So the reason why we're going to do the top first is because of the PT heads. They don't matter when you go under, but they matter when you try to go above. So we'll fill this out. And we're going to fit, the reason why we're doing this is to fit as many PTs in the area as possible. Now you do this exact same thing with Rexes. First you need to test what they fit under, and you need to test if it affects you while you're under, stuff like that. Your flooring. So this is the all-stat male. Alright, so I'm going to want to park this where the all-stat male is going to go. Let's go this way with it. Alright, perfect. So we're going to put the all-stat male in its cubby. Beautiful. You kind of want to have a system for this, because if you move the all-stat male too much, wall. There we go. So every time I come park a new male, just bring a wall, place it, repark the new male, and then I'm going to pick up that wall. And that's how I'm going to be making sure that I always put the male in the same exact place. Alright, so now when we start doing our breeders, it's going to be a little bit different. It is easiest to do this with 2 people. Let's see, I want to make a way up and down as well. So let's get some ladders in here. Let's see, we're not going to need this corner. Alright, let's make our way down. There we go. So now I've got my way up, or my way down, my way up. Alright, so he's already on breeding. Perfect. Now I just need to enable breeding on her. And then pull her away. Oh, still breeding. Alright, let's back it off a bit. We could probably even go 1 layer higher if we really wanted to. Obviously I'm not going to do it because I want this video to be as short as it can be. It's already going to be extremely long. But it is what it is. Just inching it closer because I want to maximize the space that I get. Finally. Now I go get another PT. Do the same thing. Alright, jump off left. Oh, it's not enabled. Alright. Now it's probably going to have to line up pretty much exactly with it. Thatch ceilings kind of suck because of the way that they are an ace. Oh, it's already breeding. Alright. Gotta back it off. Is that they have little divots in them. Alright, I am gonna maximize the PTs by punching them into each other. There we go. Because now you'll see that the wings are inside of each other. You can't do that if you just walk it. You gotta punch it. Alright, next one. Disable. Alright, I'm going to set these all up and cut back to it. Alright, so with about 100 more PTs, I could get this floor filled out. I could get the middle floor filled out. And and then I can get the bottom floor filled out. But to make this quicker, we're just gonna do our representation. Once you got the top floor filled out, bottom floor filled out, and or middle, and then bottom floor filled out, you just demolish the thatch ceilings. Nope, not the wall. Jesus. The thatch ceilings. Just take them down at the core. And you're probably gonna have to actually destroy this beach thatch ceiling before you set up your middle floor. So once your top floor is fully set up, just demolish that. And then here's the magic. He's already enabled mating, so you just copy the settings to all the PTs. And so all the PTs that you got set up are gonna breed. So top floor is filled out, middle floor is filled out, bottom floor is filled out. All of these thatch ceilings are gone, right? And there's just like, you know, 100 PTs basically in a cylinder around the male. You're gonna have to leave a window right here, so there's not gonna be any PTs right here. On the middle floor. And when everything lays their eggs, they're all gonna drop straight through to the floor. Oh, okay, let's speed this up. Alright. As you can see, all the eggs drop. And they would have all gone to the floor, which you can just run around, pick them all up. Oh wow, hatching very quickly. Guess it's perfect temperature out here. But yeah, you grab all those eggs, and then out of those eggs you hatch them. And what you're looking for is, if you need more all-stat females, you're looking for 0 mutations, and you're looking for, oh god, this is gonna come out of hand. You're looking for no mutations, and making sure that they have the health, stam, weight, and damage, which they're gonna, because they came from all-stat male and female, so it's guaranteed. Guaranteed stats on that. And then once you have all the all-stat females you need, now you're just looking for mutations. So you're gonna want 1 mutation. Let's say you want health or damage or stam. Just look for a dino that's gotten that mutation. You know, let's say your top stat for health is you know, 1738. I'd come over here to the 2000. And, you know, that would be 1 mutation. And then go here and make sure that it says 1 mutation. So, and then you take that then you take that mutation. If it's on a male, great. You can replace this all-stat male with that male with the 1 mutation. And then all of these are going to breed with that 1 mutation. And now, our breedline is established, and we're getting into mutation breeding. So that's going to be the end of the video right there, guys. I know it's a long one, but there's a lot to cover, especially with setting up the breeders like this. You're gonna have to, you know, test it yourself. Each dino is different, about the breeding range and how many floors you can make and how tall you need to make them to like fit underneath each other. But yeah, I will see you in the next one.